Hello, everybody. Andy Goldberg here. Welcome to the Founders Chair podcast. Very pleased to welcome onto the show today Keith Gordon from 1047. Keith, welcome to the Founders Chair.
Thanks for having me.
Can we just start off, Keith, by telling us a little bit about you personally, just so we get to know you? Where are you from, where you live, what you get up to when you're not at work?
Yeah, so I was brought up outside St Andrews, a couple of miles outside St Andrews. I've got an older brother, a younger sister. So I grew up there. It was quite interesting childhood. My parents were quite adventurous. They used to take us abroad in a camper van, and we'd jump in the camper van and drive to Europe every year, which was pretty unusual back in those days. So I guess that instilled a sense of adventure in me. When I was 17, unfortunately, my mother died, so that's kind of a big change in direction. I went to university in Aberdeen. I didn't really do anything with the degree, and eventually started working life at the bottom. Today, I live in Dunfermline, still in Fife. I've got a wife and a daughter who's 17. She'll be going to university this year. So they're a great sense of support. So a lot of the life's running in the family for the moment. It'll change this year. She goes up to uni. I took up golf during the pandemic. I'm a bad golfer, but try and keep that once a week. And that's kind of my life at the moment outside work.
Yeah. So tell us a little about, so before we get into what you guys are doing now at 1047, tell us a little bit about how the company came about, and also at what point did you have the confidence that you can and should be running your own business?
Yeah, well, it's probably a bit of an unusual tale, as I say. So I started working for a small division of a big American company, and they had two connector divisions, and they were really working on growing one half of the company. So I kind of went the other way and went there with the other division, if you like, because all the management went with the team that was going to grow and they were investing in. So it left an opening on the other side. So I grew within that unit, if you like, to more or less running that unit day to day. And things changed within there all of a sudden, because there was a number of things happening. People retired, upper management, new people took over. They bought over another division in London, another company in London, which they were looking to integrate. We were much smaller, and they had this idea that they would close us and integrate from London, which didn't seem like much of a reward for us. We were a growing, profitable division that started off stagnant and losing money. So we turned it around, made money, developed new products, and the reward was we were going to be closed. So it wasn't really at that point, I had this idea to start what became 1047, and I approached a couple of other guys, sales guys. So I came from an operation business background, and they were external sales, and pitched the idea to them, who they were immediately on board, if you like. So that was really the start, the idea of the company.
Yeah.
It actually coming to fruition was a bit more complex, let's say. But that was the start.
And tell us a little bit about the company now. What are your key products and services, and who's your target audience? Who's your ideal customer?
Yeah, so our biggest market is the entertainment market. So we supply connectors, cable assemblies, we manufacture cable protectors, and we have essentially 4 different target markets. Entertainment is the biggest market, so we supply for large events, so bands that are on tour or festivals, or it could be also big sporting events. We supply the temporary power industry, which is we also need supply to the electricity network, connecting up generators to the electricity network. We supply the rail and general industrial market connectors. which is just really UK. And we started a new business back in 2021 with a new product called PowerTrack, which supplies temporary lighting and power for the fit-out part of the building trade. So there really are four markets.
And so tell us a little bit about, we want to hear about kind of your entrepreneurial journey, the learnings on the way. Like what would you say has been the biggest learning you've had over the years?
The biggest learning, well, there's a lot of different learnings, I would say, a lot of them fairly small and at different stages of the journey. So one of the things that I would say, at the very start of the journey is to plan things out. So learning to plan things out because at the end, we did a lot of planning, then we started the company in a rush because of particular circumstances. And it's much easier to plan it out. So I've started a number of businesses since then, business units if you like, and you really need to have a plan. You need to know your market, and what's very important, which a lot of people don't think about, is positioning yourself within the market. So you want to decide what part of that market you want to address. If you want to be pile high, sell cheap, or if you want to operate the high end of the market, if you want to operate somewhere in the middle, what's your position in the market, and how is that covered at the moment? So that's a thing that I think a lot of people miss because they just react to opportunities rather than put a little bit of thought behind it, which can make a big difference.
Yeah, so you need to be clear on your identity and then clear on how you communicate that to the market so that they know,
Yes.
They understand, are they the right fit? Are you the right fit for them as a customer, and are they the right fit for you?
Yes. That's the thing that's really often missed because people come along with a big opportunity. That might not be the right opportunity for you. And then other things which you see as a good fit, well, be a bit persistent with it because you can add value to that customer.
Yeah. And did that take a lot of time and effort? And did you have to change? Like, did you try things that didn't work and you had to kind of pivot your message?
Well, at the beginning, I would say because we started with three of us and we got distracted with opportunities that came up because maybe some of the opportunities that came up weren't really a great fit for us, but they were the first opportunities to come up. And when you're starting from nothing, then you go after those. But in reality, we also lost a lot of time because you're chasing after things that really aren't right for you and then not working on things that are right for you. It'll take a bit longer to land, but when they do, they're long term. So that was something that we experienced. And then as we have added more businesses or business units, I come across exactly the same thing.
What's been your biggest challenge during the years, and who have you had, to maybe help you through it? A colleague, somebody on the outside. We can't always do this on our own. What's been your biggest challenge, and how'd you get through it?
Yeah, well, it's been kind of the period that we've operated in. So you think for years there was a level of stability, and then you've got these various shocks and crises that we've had throughout the world. We had the financial crisis, and then there was years of austerity, and then we've had Brexit, and then COVID, the war. So there's been shocks to the system, if you like.
Yeah.
And we've tended to work with the same people for, we're very consistent, very loyal, and people are very loyal to us. So at the end, the business partners left. So the first guy left really quite early. So we realised that wasn't working out. So we left quite early after about 3 years. But we knew before that it wasn't working out. And the other guy, he stayed together with us till 2013. So he just decided to retire. So Douglas Fury. So I've always been grateful to him for the way that he conducted everything. So he did everything correctly, and we worked well together. We worked long term with guys in the company in America, Blex Products, you can see behind us, which we have a joint venture with. So the founder of that is Bob Luther, and we worked with them since we started in 2001. So he's been a big influence in terms of also learning from things from them as a company, how they do things, and hopefully maybe to learn a few things from us as well that we share, because you learn things from different cultures. And then the guys that we actually worked with to set up the company were guys in Italy, two brothers called Vanzo brothers, Riccardo and Augusto Vanzo, who are now retired. But the company would never have started without them, without their support. And they also invested at the time. So there's been a number of people that we work with throughout the years that support us, and hopefully we've also supported them throughout the years. So it's been a good journey.
Yeah, that's really important. And considering like this, it's been interesting times. Let's face it. You know, like the crash, the Brexit, the COVID, these things you mentioned, war in Ukraine, Trump, and yet it's not really that interesting. Isn't that always the case, though, Keith? Like, aren't there always going to be the universe is always going to throw things our way that we need to adapt and learn and work through?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be ready for these things. So one of the things that we have is we try to have a broad base. So a broad base of customers. We have different markets that we address. So that one market's down. So that if you have these shocks, and we try to keep the company strong enough, resilient enough, so that there's short-term shock and right through it. And interestingly, we've generally done better. If you look at what we do in market share, we probably do better when there is these shocks, because we carry on investing when there is a shock, rather than pull back because we've been able to. So we look for other opportunities, and rather than pull back, we kind of go the other way. So yeah, to your point, that's always true. Yeah.
And then we need to make decisions quickly, don't we? Like, it's how quickly can we respond to a change in the environment and change in the economy? Do you find that adaptability comes naturally to you, or do you feel like some days you just want to sit and just don't anything change for a few quarters? You ever feel like that?
I kind of like change, so I don't really have that. I mean, when you've got a big shock, that's obviously not pleasant. So for us, for example, we buy most of the components we buy from the EU, and a big chunk of our business was the EU. So Brexit was a big challenge. So at the end, we set up a division in Italy. So we set up 1047 in Italy to address the Brexit situation for our continental customers. So we had to adapt from that, and then on the other side, having now a domestic market in Italy, we're able to sell some more of our products from Scotland also in Italy. So we're starting to get some benefit from that, even though still a negative thing overall, but you can make the best of it. Make the best of it.
So Keith, what's the next big thing for you and your company? Like, what do the next 1 to 3 years look like in terms of opportunity, growth, challenges?
Yeah, so over the next few years, we'll be doing what we always do, is we're be interested in new product lines. So we've got a number of initiatives which we're going to be adding over the next few years that we're working on right now. Obviously, I can't announce things as we speak till we're ready, but this is always going on in the background anyway. There's a couple of quite chunky ones which hopefully will come on board. We're looking to internationalise even more, so look at spreading our international footprint even more, and we've been investing in improving the manufacturing parts here. So these are really broad brushstrokes things that we're working on right now that will hit over the next 1 to 3 years.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to watch with interest. Exciting times ahead.
Yeah. So it should be very positive.
What advice would you have for business owners or would-be business owners who are either just starting out on their own, Keith, or who are considering going out on their own?
Yeah, I think it comes back to what I said earlier. So I would say, so you should really know your market. So you get a lot of people that want to start with something they don't know anything about. So if they think they've got a good idea, well, you might have, but you want to do some research and not just with your friends and family. So you really need to know your market, and then within your market, you need to know your position within it. And then you've got to do the work in terms of putting together the core elements that you need for the business plan. So you need to do your research as to what you need in terms of premises, staff, outlay. It'll be much easier if you do that work rather than if you dive into it and then discover you've missed some things and you're really in trouble. So these are the things that I would look at. And if you do the planning and you don't plan for instant success, because as you said, that doesn't happen. So you plan for being tough at the beginning, and then building up, it will be much easier.
Yeah. So put in the work put in the work and put in the learning at the start. Understand the marketing, have a good plan. Yeah. For sure. Brilliant. Well, Keith, we've come to the end of our interview. Thanks so much for being on the show. Flew by.
Thank you very much.
We have been speaking with Keith Gordon at 1047 on the Founders Chair podcast. I've been Andy Goldberg. Thanks so much to our listeners for tuning in as always. And we look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Keith, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.